Okay, welcome to the second video for the making of BattleBrain. I decided to get into a little bit of development and 3D design for this video to show what it takes to make some of the stuff in the game. So what I'm going to do here is, if I run it, it's going to bring up the menu.
Let's play BattleBrain.
And you can see in this menu here at the bottom, I have these icons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be making a new icon, a pin icon, so that I can pin the game board to the wall. So in order to do that, I'm going to just start in Studio Max. What I want to do is pulled up a couple of images here. So I'm pretty much just going to make this 3D pin and use it as an icon in the game. Something like this. I just have to create this shape. So if we go into Studio Max, pretty much I have the question mark that I made that you could see at the beginning of the game. Pretty much what this is. I'll make it a little bit bigger. I made a 3D model, and this huge block here in the back of it is just a bone that's attached to it. The bone is used for the animation. So when I play the animation, it kind of wiggles back and forth. And in the game you don't see the bone, so I could turn the bone off, and that's all you really see in the game. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing now. I'm going to make a pin and have it act the same. And since I wanted to animate the same, I'm just going to start with this file so I don't have to recreate the bone. I'm just going to save it as a new file. I'm going to go to Max, create a new folder for this. I'm going to call it pin. It's going to be my pin model. Go inside pin, and we're just going to save this, rename it to pin Max. So I have a foundation. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to hide the question mark because I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to use this kind of as a scale. I guess I can leave it here for now. And so to create this pin, let's see, a couple of ways that I can do it. Looks like it's 3 sections. You got the top, you got the neck, and then you got the bottom. So I could make each section and weld them together, but since it's kind of simple, I think I'm just going to do a cylinder and mold it into this shape. So let's go back to Max. It's going to create a cylinder, or better yet, not a cylinder. Let's use something with a little bit of roundness to it. I think under extended, we have a special cylinder. Let's see how this looks. I can open it, extend it, and bevel it a little. That is not the right, there it is, capsule. That's what I was looking for. Let's delete this. Goodbye. Let's make a capsule. I think that'll work better. So for capsule, I just start it here, and then we'll just change it. So let's rotate this capsule so that it will be upright 90 degrees. And I can hide the pin now, so I can hide this question mark. So for the cylinder, we're going to make it long. Select it, go to the properties of it, let's change the height. Let's bring that down a little bit so it'll fit on the screen. And we're going to give it, let's drop some of the size. We don't want to have too many polygons. It doesn't have to be perfectly round, maybe 12 sides like that. And I'm going to give it a lot of divisions because I'm going to do some molding with it. So let's go in here and put a few height segments in here. So it's going to really slice it up so that I'll be able to work with it. Make it a little bit taller. Okay, so it looks like a good starting point. So if I modify this by adding an edit mesh, it's going to be able to let me to edit all the points of it. Okay, there we go. So first I'm going to make the top part here, then the neck. So let's see if we can do that. Studio Max. So I would say for the top part, since this is already round, I'll select the top, very top vertices here and use soft selection so that I'll be able to mold stuff and flatten it. I changed the strength of the soft selection about like that. Let's go to a larger view. It's a lot easier to work. Alright. So we'll just squish this down a little bit so it will be kind of the same roundness at the top here. And then I'll probably go to the front and grab maybe this one here. Grabbing the whole thing. Let's turn off soft selection. So I just want to grab this ring of vertices and kind of pull it inwards. So if I grab probably this whole section to here, looks like it'll be good. So I grab all those vertices and I go to scale. I would like to scale them only on 2 axes. So I'm going to scale these 2 axes. And as I scale it, it's gonna, you can look over here on the front side what's going on. So I'm scaling on these 2 axes and it's kind of pulling it in like that. So that's how I'm going to get that nice neck shape. So I'm going to come here, that looks about right. And just to make this a little bit round, I'll scale this in too, just to shape it so it doesn't look like it's a, undo that. It doesn't look like it has a sharp corner here. So I'm going to select that and also scale this in like that. Alright, so let's go to the front view. Nope, we don't want to open that. We're going to go to front view. Alright, so from here we're going to make, it looks like that at the bottom of the neck here it kind of flares open and then it gets round again. So we're going to flare this bottom, select these vertices and also do soft selection so it'll grab and move some of the other vertices at the top, but lower the strength down a little bit. Okay, so I only want to scale this on 2 axes. I don't want to scale it on the Y, so I need to go to another view from the top. And if I pull this out, it's going to kind of make the bottom bevel out. That looks about right. Okay. So now I can just do the same thing. I'll go and round this part out here. I can turn off soft selection and just pretty much manipulate these rows to try to get the best shape. So it looks like this is going to come out around there. I think if I look at the picture, yeah, it extends out pretty much. So let's make that go out like that. We'll take the next level, move it up a little bit, scale it so that it'll be round, and do that 2 more times. We'll scale this one like that. Actually, I think it's supposed to be out a little bit more. seem a little more round. Yeah, kind of like that. Actually, I think that's pretty much it. So for the bottom here, I guess I could give it a little bit more rounded since I have so many polygons to deal with. So I can just move this up, and let's make this a little bit bigger so I can see. And it's starting to look good. Move this up a little bit more. Maybe make it a little more rounder. And select this one here and do the same thing. Kind of like that. That almost looks good. That looks good. Okay, so I'm going to select all of these and just flatten them by scaling them all to the same place. So I'm going to create a flat bottom by scaling that, moving it up. It looks little, it looks good, but the neck could be stretched out a little bit. So I'm going to select the bottom, do a soft select, and stretch that neck out. Alright, so now if I look at that in a perspective view, rotate it, kind of looks right, except I got a little bit in the back here. Yeah, for some reason, I guess I didn't grab these polygons when I scaled them out, but that's fixable. I'll just grab this back end here, pull it out. Yeah, don't want to grab that one. Let's just not select that one and pull these out to try to get the closest shape possible. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect because this back part is probably not going to face the user, but I want to kind of make it as close as possible. So that's its side. Of course, there's more polygons that are messed up, so I think there's another way I could probably fix this. I could go through and probably a top-down view would work better. I can see what's going on. Yeah, I think that's going to work better. So I can select each one and just pull it where it needs to be. There we go. I'll pull this one out. So normally this wouldn't happen, but you know, sometimes you don't grab vertices and you just have to go into a manual tweak. Alright, so that's starting to look good. I'll just straighten these out. Like that. Alright, I'm going to say that that is done. And next, we'll zoom out and we'll add the metal pin part at the bottom. So let's go back to this view. I'm going to go save it really quick. And to do the bottom part, I'm going to, that should be fairly simple. I can go ahead and, let's see what we're going to create for that. It doesn't really have to be anything special, so I think I'll just do, it should be round. So I'll just do a cylinder for that. Make a cylinder from the top down and extend it. Can't see it, but it actually popped up. And I'll hide the capsule for a second so you can kind of work with just the cylinder. So for the cylinder, it's going to be the pin. It doesn't have to have that many polygons, so let's zoom in on it. Go to perspective view, a little bit easier to work with. Alright, so we're going to, first of all, we don't need this many polygons, so let's drop down the segments. And it doesn't have to be that round, so we're going to get rid of some of the sides. And maybe 8 sides. Can get away with that looking pretty round. Alright, and so now I'll just drop the size down because it shouldn't be that wide. So we're just going to drop the radius, make it nice and skinny like a pen. And now I can add in a edit mesh. It's going to let me manipulate the vertices. I'm going to grab the vertices at the very bottom and collapse those together. So it's going to come to a point, collapse. There we go. Alright, so now we have our pen. Let's go here. Also, I don't need this extra polygon at the top here, so I'm going to grab that and just delete that out. If I grab by polygon, select this one at the top, because that's going to be inside. I'm just going to delete that one because we don't need to have that. Delete. There. Alright, so we have our pen. We just need to attach it. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse this down to an editable mesh, because I'm pretty much done with that one. I'm going to show this again, zoom out. Alright, let's go to wireframe so I can see. Okay, so the pen is inside. Let's select it and move it down. There we go. Just look at the whole thing. Alright. Close, but I think the pen should be bigger. So I'll select it and scale the whole thing. And then let's go down. Move it down a little bit so you can see. It'd probably be easier to move the pivot point at the top. You can kind of see what's going on. Alright. So with the pivot at the top, I can turn that off. And we'll be able to move it down. Alright. Let's look at perspective view and see how that looks. Smooth. Alright. It's getting there. I'm kind of probably not liking the point, even if I made it wider. Let's see if I scaled it wider so you can see it better. And maybe a little bit longer. Alright. Alright, that looks like a pen model. Okay. So next, what I'm going to do in Unity is I'm going to have, I guess, 2 materials. One for the shiny part at the bottom, and then one for the pen, which will be red. So I'm going to combine these together, but I'm going to make them use separate materials. So first I'm going to select this pen here at the top, collapse it to an editable mesh. And then take this and attach it to the bottom pen here. So now they are one object. I'm just going to rename this pen. Okay, got a little bit of, whoa. Okay, it looks like I attached it to the wrong object. Let me undo that. There we go. Somehow I got attached to the question also. Alright, so let's select that again and select pen. Save it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is go in here now and create a material or two materials that will be used. So I have this question mark material, but I'm going to create a new one. Let's go here. Make this a little bit smaller so I can see. Okay, so that's the question mark material. Let's see if we can make another one. Or I could just manipulate this one. It'll probably be the same thing. So I just changed this to first I'm going to rename this material because so that the names will match when I load the model up in Unity. I'm going to name this material silver. Alright, and silver does not need a bitmap, so I can probably delete this bitmap. Or better yet, since I could actually create these materials in Unity when I think about it, only because they don't have bitmaps, they don't have anything associated with it. So I'm just not going to assign this material. I can just go and put this up and remove this bitmap. There we go. So let's see. So that's silver. I will select the pen, select the bottom of the pen, and attach a material only to the bottom part. So I'm going to attach silver to the bottom. So I'm going to come here and say assign material to the selection. So, okay, so it assigned it to the whole object, which is fine. I just have to go and select just the bottom and say that I want this bottom ID to be, let's set the ID to 1. So I'm going to give it its own ID. So this pen has a material ID of 1, and now I'm going to set this, the top of the pen, to ID 2. So they have two different IDs, so I can put two different materials on it. So I have silver. I think I already have a red color, or a red material created in Unity. I'll go to materials. I have the Brain's glasses, which is pretty much red, and then I have red here. Okay, so it's not as shiny, so it looks like I'm gonna have to make my own material to match that. So we have silver, and then we'll just create a new material, standard, and we'll call this new material, well, since I have silver selected, let's go into and change the name of it as well. So that's question here. Alright, so we're going to rename this one. I'll call it Pinhead. It's the head of the pen. So Pinhead, I'm going to make the color red. And then we will assign it to selected. I might have to do a double material. Let's see. Alright. Looks like that worked. Alright, so there's two different materials on this pen. If I zoom out, there it is. So I have a pen, And what I need to do now is scale it down. So I'm going to save this and bring back the question mark so I can see what size to scale this pin down to. So if I select the whole thing and scale it, whoa, I'll just select the whole model, not just part of the model. So turn it off, and we'll scale the whole model down. All right. Hide this question mark and move this up now, because it looks like it's about the same size. Put it here. Alright, let's make sure. So that looks good. It's a little bit tall, so I'm going to just scale it down a little bit. I want my icons to be almost the same size, so let's scale that down. That looks like that's going to be about the right scale. Okay, so I'm just going to save this off as a backup before I add the animation on, just in case I want to come back and have my pen exactly the way it is now. So I'm just going to put a little backup file. So now I can go in and I can delete this question mark since I have a copy. Let's delete that. Okay. Alright, and I can rotate this. I'm going to put the pivot in the middle because I want it to be kind of rotated like in this image here. Kind of rotate it off to the side and tilt it to the front a little bit. So if I go back to max and I put the pivot, if I center the pivot to the object like that, I should be able to rotate it from the center. And we'll just rotate it a little bit. So first let's rotate it sideways. And then maybe a little bit tilted back. Well, we don't want to see the front. Let's do it like that. So that if I'm looking at the pen in the game, I'm looking at this view, this is kind of what I'm going to see. So I'll kind of see it tilted a little bit like that. Alright, so once I get it placed, I'm going to go and add a mesh smooth on this so that when it draws the material, it's going to shade it really good. So let's add some shading or smooth. And we're just going to tell it to smooth 1. And let's see how that looks. If I turn off wireframes for a second. Okay. Alright. So what we need to do now is we need to reset the scale for this. So I'm going to convert it back to a mesh. I need to reset the X form. That's going to reset all the coordinates. Puts an X form on it because normally it's rotated like this. So we don't want to have that. Before I export it, I want Studio Max to set the rotation. So let's reset it one more time. There we go. So now it looks like it's square and that it was made this way. So now that the X form is reset, I can go and start animating it. So I'll unhide the bone, which should be still there. And to animate it, I just need to add skin onto this object. Alright. And then in the skin, I'm going to attach this bone to the skin of this object. So I'm going to attach this bone. It's fairly easy. It's only one bone. So now, if I play the animation, the bone animates. And it moves the pen with it. So it's going to look like the pen is dancing in the game. Alright, so we got that. Just gonna save this as the original, because this will be what I'm going to export out to the game. So now let's go ahead and do export and get it into Unity. Export. Alright, and it's going to be an FBX. I'm going to put it in, let's see, we're going to put it here in the Max folder, and I created this pen folder, so just going to export it here. Or I guess I probably could just export it directly into the Unity directory. So let's do that. So inside my assets folder, I have a models directory, and this is where all my models are. So I'm just going to export the FBX directly into Unity. I have all of the defaults set except embed media, but I don't need to send the materials over. So I'm not going to embed the media. I'm just going to send just the model without the materials. And I'll add the materials when I get into Unity. Okay, so let's export that out. I just have to remember the name of the materials, which were, I think it was pinhead and silver. Yeah, okay. So those are two materials I need to make. So if I go back to Unity, Unity's already importing that asset. Okay, there's my models, there's my pen. Let's see how it looks. I'll drag it here. Okay. So let's rotate this view and see what's going on. I'm going to hide this other screen really quick so I can just check out what's going on. Okay. Looks like the model is there. And it looks like it made materials for it. So it made two already. Okay. Well, I don't want these materials, so I'm going to make my own. So I'm going to rename this one Silver. And Pinhead can stay. I have a folder for the materials, so I'm going to move these to my material folder. And I can get rid of this folder. Okay, so in materials, I have Pinhead. So first I'm going to deal with that. Let's put this light back on. It'll be easier to see the light on. I'll just turn off this play screen. Alright. And probably move this pen away from this cursor so that I can see it better. Okay. I just want to take a look at it and play around with the material. So for the head of the pen, I want it to be shiny and a little bit more like a pen. So kind of like that. Looks pretty good. And not a lot of metallic. Just kind of that looks plastic, I think, which is good. So the next thing I'm going to do is put silver onto the tip of the pen. So let's see if I can do that. Open up the pen here. There should be two materials on it. Let's see. There's the bone, there's the pen, there's the two materials, silver. Okay, so silver is already on there because it was exported. So if I open up silver, I should be able to make it a little more metallic. Let's make it really metallic because it's silver. Although it's kind of hard to tell. I want to go all the way black. So let's make it a little bit glossier. Somewhere in the center looks good. Okay, so there's my pen. I'm going to go ahead and create a prefab for this. Just drag it in my prefabs folder. And then I'll delete this one. Alright, so what I'm going to do, since I have the pen, I already have buttons created. So I'm just going to use one of those buttons to make my icon. So let's go to the title screen. And let's see, if I rotate this around. So pretty much I'm going to take one of these buttons that I've made and duplicate it and just replace the button, replace it with the icon in the background to save me a little bit of time. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to name this button pen. So this pen is not going to be on this screen, this title screen, so I'm going to take it away from the title screen. Just move it down here for now. Hide this title screen. There we go. Okay. So I have my new button, which is just a game object with the model in the back and some text and the microphone icon, which is hidden, which I can turn off and on in the code. Let me zoom in a little bit more so I can see that better. So yeah, that's the mic here. So we're going to change the text, and we're going to change the text to say pen game. I could just say pen, but that's not enough. It normally works best if you use 2 or more words when you're doing a voice command. So I'm going to say pen game will be the voice command, and instead of using the gear, I'm going to go and drop this pen here, and I think if I remove the gear now, you should be able to see the pen. Let's move it back a little bit and down, rotate it and see. So it's going to kind of look like that, which looks pretty good. I see now that I could actually scale it a little bit bigger. I can do that in Unity. I don't have to go back to Studio Max. Let's scale it. It's 1 right now, but we can scale it probably to 1.3. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. We could probably even push it to 1.4. Okay, we'll just replace this. Move it back a little bit. Okay, so now, actually I think it's rotated the wrong way. Kind of envisioned it rotated the other way, so let's rotate that 180 degrees. There we go. That's better. Now that I rotate it, I can actually make it bigger. So I'm going to make that bigger. Okay, now we're starting to look like an icon. I will rotate this and move it back just a little bit more. Actually, no, I think that's good. The word is, it's right on there. Okay, so we'll just save this progress, and then I'll, just to see how it looks, I will go ahead and add it to the title screen, so I'll see how it looks on the screen. We'll make the title screen visible, and I'll just move it higher. Zoom out a little bit. Okay. And so we'll put this, let's put this at the top. for right now. So I'm gonna move this pin game to another screen. Actually, I probably could go ahead and see, because when you get into the gameplay, that's when I'm gonna put it. So let's put it on the play screen. It'll work out better. So we'll hide the title. So here on the play screen, I have this menu option at the bottom. So pin is going to go here at the bottom corner, so that when you're playing the game, you'll get the option to pin it to the wall. Let's move this up a little bit so you can see. So that looks about right. Let's see if I select that. So now I can drag and drop this as a child of the play screen, now that I have it placed. Okay, so on the play screen now I have the menu button. And this collision square in front of the menu, that's how I can tell if there's been a collision detection. So in front of all of my buttons, I have a box collider. Alright, so if I play this, I should be able to see this pin animate, and it should be here. I think I probably should rename it, instead of pin, I should rename it pin play screen, because I might have this pin on different screens and I want to access it by name, so I'm going to give them all different names in the code. So this will be the pin for the play screen. Okay, so let's run it and see how that looks. Okay.
Let's play BattleBrain.
Alright, so that's the title screen. I'll probably maximize it for the video. It makes it easier to see. Maximize on play. So, Unity's taking a little bit of time, I guess, because I'm screen recording. There we go.
Let's play BattleBrain.
Alright, so this is the menu that you see, and if I go to play and BattleBrain, perfect. So yeah, there's the pin. Looks great, but it's not animating because I forgot to turn on the animation, which makes sense. And so even though I loaded it in, I need to go to the pin model itself, the actual model that I loaded in, and turn on the animation. So let's see, there's the model, there's pin. So normally when you import an object, you go to, because it's just a bone and not a humanoid or anything, I'm going to put it on legacy animation, apply that, and then come to the animations tab, and I need to tell it that while you're playing the animation, you should also loop forever. So I'm going to tell the wrap mode to loop forever, and then I have take one, the first animation. I don't have to do anything to that, but I need to come down here and tell it to also, for that animation, loop. And we're going to apply. So now when I play, it should set that pin to animate on start. I believe I select the animate on start. We'll see.
Let's play BattleBrain.
Alright. There we go. Perfect. So now the pin is in the game. It's selectable because it has the same scripts on it to be a selectable object. It's not selectable when the brain is moving. That's why. Okay. So yeah, perfect. So right now, I would go into code and have this button respond to my selection But that we'll save that for another video. Pretty much this is what it takes in order to put an icon into the game. I hope you enjoyed the video, and look out for the next one.